Yo, the enemy's public, I gotta keep my eyes open. Pay attention, stop walking around like you blindfolded. This not the World Cup, but Nasir be kicking knowledge. This the type of information you can never learn in college. It's time to fight back, it's no more trying to play it cool. We got interviews, podcasts, and got the latest news. So sit back and relax, we about to get it started. Earth is a canvas, and guess who's the con artist? They brainwashing us, the system corrupted. You are now rocking with the enemy's public. You are now rocking with the enemy's public. I said you are now rocking with the enemy's public. Hey.
Peace. This is the enemy's public, and I am Bro.Nasir. I hope everybody's having a lovely afternoon. We're going to continue to celebrate hip hop in its 50th anniversary, and we're going to explore hip hop, the early years, with some snippets of interviews. Excuse me, forgot to turn down my notifications. Let me do that real quick. We're going to explore some interviews of some early years hip hop, some of our favorite hip hop artists from the beginning to this very moment, some of them. Yet before we get started, we're going to play some selections, some fire from some of the brothers, the hip hop artists in the community, which, in my humble opinion, are doing authentic hip hop. We're going to play a few songs before we get to the subject matter.
Say what you want. And here's the issue. Niggas is nosy like bitches. You feel me? Niggas love to stick their nose in some shit like bitches. Niggas love to run, tell that gossip like bitches.
I've been seeing shit through night vision. That mean I see you eyes closed. I told you I would get you. Now it's time. Die slow. Dangerous, the spirit of rap. I'm in the flesh. Talent is a body of work that I possess. You fucking with the wrong gun. Better let it speak to them up close and personal. Underneath the nigga chin, that's how you make a brainstorm. Any bad thoughts you was having, I just put it in the air, they get rained on. Niggas always doing a lot until they dead ones. Bodies get viewed in the box over these breadcrumbs. Similar to Broadway stages, shit get clapped up. They become vacational clothes. Niggas get packed up. I could tell you building on lies. What the fuck for? A lion that talk to the sky. This shit a uproar. You can't get a slice of the pie. Bitch, this ain't a pizza. Tell me what it's like when you die. See you when I see you.
I'm old school shit, man. Like real talk, man. I'm an 80s baby and shit, man. I still do all the old school principles and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like real talk. But on some real shit though, man, let me get right to it though. Like real talk.
On this internet, niggas who talk, they be straight soft. Catch one of them niggas slipping and blow they face off. Real shit, do it myself. I never make calls, bullshit. Fire my gun till it been laid off. Imagine what it do to your dreads, my nigga, trust me. One shot, fuck up your locks like Puffy. Point blank, All you saw, how niggas moved in. Got your shit all on the walls, like school gyms. Should've be a movie when I step on the set. My chain glow, got me looking like a special effect. It hang low, when it shine, it be dripping respect. It gave hope to all them niggas that was wishing me death. You in the veggie state, coma, they ain't giving you hope. Cause your body's still alive, but it's missing your soul. This shit the Matrix, and no, it ain't no script for your role. Cause you ain't never pay attention to the glitch in the road.
Right, man, you try to play with me, Slim. You play with a nigga name. Like you try to put a fucking, facade out there just like I'm some type of phony motherfucker. I'm some type of fraud nigga or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm one of them snake ass niggas or something like that, dude. I've been one of the most transparent niggas on YouTube, Slim. Like real shit. I ain't never had a problem with coming on this motherfucking being my motherfucking self. Like real shit. I ain't never had a problem with coming on this motherfucker and being myself with no motherfucking value shit. I'm a nigga from the street, dog. I done did time and shit, dog. You think I'm gonna let a nigga on YouTube, on the internet and shit, paint a picture that I'm a fraud ass nigga and shit? Like I'm some type of motherfucking sneaky ass nigga. Nah, I'm very transparent.
Next, I want to go to one of my favorite joints by the brother Dangerous.
You smell that, ladies? That's nitrous. One shot, boom. Now, you want to handle this hand to hand, man to chick, then we'll go home. Hello? Hello?
Hating me, nigga, you never win. Flyer than you ever was, fresher than you ever been. You on the internet looking dumb, this shit don't never end. Blabbing on about a bunch of shit that you never did. It's going down, shut it down, that's a certain fact. You a clown, a living circus act. Jealous, ain't they? That's the reason they looking stupid. You was dissing on me, what a shame. Nobody viewed the nigga stupid is. What stupid does must be retarded, and this shit go for most of you niggas. Don't get me started, I will walk you down. In this hour, it be the darkest, it be broad day. Niggas is still catch it regardless. Bitches thought I wouldn't go far, I wasn't one to fail. Didn't want me, now that it's on, they looking dumb as hell. Fuck you thought, never look back. This shit is funny and I'm going off the simplest fact that you a dummy.
That you cry for me, cause I would never cry for you. I know you're getting tired of things, I've been getting tired of you.
You still a big dummy, an idiot, a dummy. And I don't fuck with stupid, not for any kind of money. You still a big dummy, stupid bitch, you a dummy. You know you see me winning and you still ain't learned from it. Cause you's a big dummy. To my eyes you see I'm high as a bitch. So really what makes you think I give a fuck you exist? Shit, I elevated. With this music they up the payment, but when niggas hate it, I get easily frustrated. You a big dummy. Your decisions is where you fall short. I find better use of my time, making the walls talk. Dangerous, a letter for clip, then spit another round and barrel pointed over you niggas. I had to dumb it down. Your Facebook picture was one of the worst. See the truth is, shorty, you a bum and it hurts. You at the social service building every month on the first. A bunch of low life bitches that been under the dirt. Bitches thought I wouldn't go far, I wasn't one to fail. Now you trying to give me your heart, you looking dumb as hell. Sleep it off, take you a nap. This shit is funny and I'm going off the simplest fact that you a dummy.
That you cry for me, cause I would never cry for you. I know you're getting tired of things, I've been getting tired of you.
You still a big dummy, an idiot, a dummy. And I don't fuck with stupid, not for any kind of money. You still a big dummy, stupid bitch, you a dummy. You know you see me winning and you still ain't learned from it. Cause you's a big dummy.
romance. And you can't die from night to night like this. Ah, he's laughing, Jeff.
Gonna move to my brother Chris Cypher's TSL. Go. Another one of my favorite joints.
Yeah. Let go. Let go. Let go. Cyphers. Shorty ass, I'm an MC and let get it. Mommy wanna ride with him, let get it. Let go. Let get it. Let get it. Shorty ass, I'm an MCM, let get it. Mommy wanna ride with him, let get it. 10, 20, 50 Benjamins, let's get it. Let get it. Let get it, yeah. Once again, I'm out with the gang, let get it. Non-recession money ain't a thing, let get it. No time given to a lane, let get it. Let get it. Let get it. Shorty ass on my MCM, let get it. Mommy wanna ride with him, let get it. 10, 20, 50 Benjamins, let's get it. Money in my bank, chubby with the K. Pull it out for haters cause they hate. Gotta fix your face. Number 4 gorilla in this pain. Yeah, I'm about to take off, flame. Get it through your brain. We will never hang. Never hang. I don't do TikTok, my watch do the same. Niggas like flip-flops, they sliding on game. You need a pit stop, get up off my wave. Rap is not this, I know I don't see flame. No, they complaining cause they do it on my own. Got a lot of mouth, but I don't see you on. Why these niggas still fake for the gram? Getting used by the ops once again. You would never ever know. Never ever ever. I got mega weather flow. I got a mission to boat. All I need is some fine women willing to go. Let go. Let get it. Let get it. Shorty ass on my MCM, let get it. Mommy wanna ride with him, let get it. 10, 20, 50 Benjamins, let's get it. Let get it. Let get it, yeah. Once again, I'm out with the gang, let get it. Non-recession money ain't a thing, let get it. No time given to a lane, let get it. Let get it. Let get it. Shorty ass on my MCM, let get it. Mommy wanna ride with him, let get it. 10, 20, 50 Benjamins, let's get it.
This next song, the very first time I heard it, it resonated with me. And I just like the way it sounds. Just like the ones I've just played, I like the way the song sound, the cadence, the wordplay. It's just what hip hop was intended in actuality.
First skipped message sent yesterday at 5:27 p.m.
I'm tired of how black men being killed. They done put some respect on our damn name. The brother in Minneapolis do everything the right way. Where is he right now? I don't want to hear do things the right way. You are not going to talk police.
I swear it's like a disease that goes round and round and round like sirens. I see the strangest things, the evil that money brings. I swear it's like a disease that goes round and round and round like sirens. And they wanna bury me, why? 'Cause I'm anti-everything. I swear it's like a disease that goes round and round and round like sirens.
Man, I'm anti-dirty cops, anti-bullshit, I'm anti-scamming ass preachers in the pulpit, I'm anti-no truth, anti-full of lies, I'm anti-scared to try, I'm anti-scared to die, I'm anti-poverty, anti-stay the same, I'm anti-hard lies, anti-scared to change, I'm anti-pity parties, anti-excuse makers, anti-lazy niggas, anti-truth haters, anti-praying march, I'm anti-quiet nigga, Malcolm over Martin, I ain't anti-violent nigga, anti-fake woke, anti-unaware, I'm anti-Jesus Christ, I'm anti-church and prayer, I'm anti-false hope, anti-Holy Ghost, I'm anti-fairy tales, brainwash brainwashing grown folks. I'm anti. Jesus letting killers in the church house and God ain't doing shit. But watching as we get murked out, I'm anti. Niggas too blind to open their eyes and see I'm anti. Loving my enemies and apologies, I'm anti. Gangbang music helping kill the youth and drug overdose music targeted to me and you. I'm anti-black cops signing while they killing us and black judges hugging the killer, but they ain't helping us. I'm anti-scared to fight, anti-scared to lead. Malcolm said won't be no revolution cause y'all scared to bleed. I'm anti, no proof, anti, no evidence, anti-niggas not asking questions, just believing shit. I'm anti, begging to the sky with situations thought I trust and I believe in me. I'm anti-belief in God. I'm anti, evil on this earth, hating racism, anti-hate for whites. I'm anti-niggas, nigga, anti-genocide, self-hate and suffering. If it don't help to better us, I'm anti-everything.
The evil that money brings, I swear it's like a disease that goes round and round and round like sirens. When you wanna bury me, cause I'm anti-everything. I swear it's like a disease that goes round and round and round like sirens. I see the strangest things, the evil that money brings. I swear it's like a disease that goes round and round and round like sirens. And they wanna bury me, cause I'm anti-everything. I swear it's like a disease that goes round and round and round like sirens.
Man, I'm anti-roots, nigga, anti-fake truth. I'm anti-believing the slavery stories taught at school. I'm anti that we all from Africa don't apply to me. I'm anti Kanye rocking our people back to sleep. I'm anti-granny killers. Grandcestors had the truth. I'm anti-monkey shit. I'm anti-Lucy too. I'm anti-letting these white folks tell me just who I am. My granny came from right here, nigga. She was an Indian. I'm anti-getting scammed, anti-getting played. I'm pro-genealogy. I'm anti-DNA. I'm anti-refusing to check in the shit that we was gave. I'm anti-believing the white man and not what granny say. Niggas ain't like it when Waka came dropping facts in. He said he wasn't black and he ain't African American. That's real talk, real spill, real life, real deal. I'm anti-urbanist. My mission is to help heal. I'm anti-ignorance, anti-religious shit. I'm anti-cool with niggas cognitive dissonance. I'm anti-lack of knowledge, put us at a disadvantage. Anti-social with niggas fighting for a chicken sandwich. Anti-Flint water, anti-sucker shit. And fuck you to them blacks that's selling out for the government. I'm anti-no planning, anti-folk scamming, anti-no will. I'm anti-low standards, anti-no drive, anti-low lives, anti-low esteem. I'm anti-no pride, anti-wanting to quit. I'm anti-giving up. I'm anti-niggas not helping to lift our people up. I'm anti-hating niggas, anti-lame niggas, anti-6ix9ine. I'm anti-snake niggas, anti-low vibe. Live life fly high. Some days it's gonna be full of rain, the other days the sun will shine.
The evil that money brings, I swear it's like a disease that goes round and round and round like sirens. And they wanna bury me, cause I'm anti-everything. I swear it's like a disease that goes round and round and round like sirens. I see the strangest things, the evil that money brings.
The man was shot and killed inside the chapel at this World Changers Church International. A man, a worker at the church, leading a prayer, opening the prayer service today. And as the longtime member who talked to Karen indicated, there were a lot of people who go to that prayer service on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10. Different people lead the service. But as he was leading the prayer at the start of the service, a man walked up to him and shot and killed him, shot him at point blank range.
Another song that resonates with me because it's the state that we're in with this society. You know, we're in a system that refuses to tell the truth, and they lie on top of lies. They lie to cover up their lies. Now, I'm the type of person that even if I'm doing music, it has to be a teaching and learning moment. And just like the songs I played before, this song resonates with me also.
It's kind of like the sun coming over a dark cloud and shining on you with its warm rays of beneficence.
Yo, once again from the soul. This is my notebook. Let me rip you a page that'll make you sit back and witness the plague. Got kids pitching grenades, missing the days. Guess you can't be a star sitting in the shade. And at times, life will make you sicker than AIDS. Twisting the haze, laid out wishing you prayed. Working hard, no difference is made. In a world that'll kill you and spit in your grave. The best thing a parent can say to a child, success is no restriction for age. Or we might be another nigga twisting some braids in the penitentiary, spending some days. Bad choices, plus you know how niggas persuade. Them snakes got venomous ways. And the worst thing to a man is feeling betrayed. Head above water, still get hit with a wave. Still think of my queen, get hit with a daze. Still treat us no different than slaves. This world will take hearts and fill them with rage. Water seeds with hate and make them sit in a cage. On some bullshit. World on some bullshit. Nothing new under the sun. Shit ain't no different today. You know I can give up what your ministers say. I won't forget the past to remember the faith. As society takes souls and send them astray. Then it's the hate you got trapped deep in your heart. So in these times I fall back deep in the arts. Hidden colors. Got a nigga seeking the ark. Sipping tea, watching devils pull people apart. I remember an old saying, reap what you sow. On your journey, stay humble and teach what you know. And this flow ain't the shit you see at the store. It's more like the damn killer that you greet at the door. Third eye be the seed of your soul. Such a beautiful earth these demons control. Gonna make shit better if I can. Cause all over the world my empire stand. On some bullshit. World on some bullshit. On some bullshit. World on some bullshit. On some bullshit. World on some bullshit.
Before I get started with the subject matter, the topic of discussion, I just want to give a rundown and give credit to all these amazing artists that I played and say peace to the family and the listening audience. Peace to, I want to give credit to Dangerous and Greedy Vegan, YouTube Niggas. I played the song Dummy by Dangerous. And this song that I played after Dummy should be played real loud inside of a Jeep or stadium, and that's the song Go by my brother Chris Cyphers. Anti-Everything by Chief Cali. The Whole World on Some Bullshit by Bro Sanchez. Now, salute to these brothers. Just know that these songs resonate with me and they'll be in heavy rotation anytime I go live. I'll be adding on, switching them around, but there will be a heavy rotation. Now, we're going to go to the CBS News archive footage contains pejorative language, slang terms that were used in the 1980s and the 1990s. It has not been edited, and we're going to see some of the old artists being interviewed, and I'm also going to pause and give some narrative and some commentary. And I hope this is enjoyable to y'all. But before I do that, I want to say peace to my brother Keith West, peace to Marco Power, peace to my brother Chris Cyphers TSL, peace to Brown's Flat Power God, peace to P. Moses. Thanks for coming through. Now let's get to the subject at hand.
The music is called Rapping. The group is the Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, and the song is the first protest rap song. Felicia Jeter interviewed the group on the CBS broadcast Night Watch.
How do you describe rapping, the style that you were using in the message?
Well, I would say that rapping is like poetry, but that you recite it to the beat of the music.
Yeah.
Just.
How did it get to be a gold record?
Well, I guess it just took years of, it happening, just playing for free in the parks, doing the parties. But after a while, it just built up to it,
And
more
here
than
you
gold,
are.
double platinum with Rapper's Delight. That's where it all started, like as far as on a record level, recording level.
Flash, they call you Grandmaster Flash. That means you're no ordinary Flash. And that has to do with how quickly you move your hands, I'm told, in your job. Tell me what you do. Explain your job.
Well, what it is exactly is taking parts of records and segging them with other parts of records to make a completely different record. It's more or less like reorchestrating the actual wax and making it a different record.
Now in the case of your group, you have the company's band put soundtracks down.
Yes.
And then you told me you have 3 different turntables working at one time.
Yes.
And you totally come up with another kind of music.
What it is like, I'm like the band, so what it is, my job is to actually keep the music going, keep it on time,
That's quite a job. Does it help not having a band? I know it must save you some money. A lot of people are starting to do that.
Well, the only advantage that it gives us is the advantage to do it all our own. Because, with a band, it'd be a lot easier just to have them come out there and, do it for us. See, now we could be more or less the pioneers of what we do, just to take it, on our own steps.
And you really have more control this way, too.
Yes.
You are real interesting in your own personal lives in the fact that you have now made obviously a lot of money. You've had 3 records to go gold, platinum. And you were all born, so I guess in the ghetto, in the Bronx.
Yeah, that's where we come from.
And most of you still live there. All of you still live there.
I love it.
A lot of people would have run out of the ghetto and gotten a huge, gorgeous home and done all kinds of things with all that money.
No.
You're still there. What's your lifestyle like?
Well, what it is like, the people look at us differently, but I feel that's the environment I grew up in. So I would feel uncomfortable moving to a more cosmetic area, so to speak, where people are not really for real. See, in the ghetto, it's like I can relate to them people better as opposed to relating to other people in a more better area. It's where we get our material. And like if we were to leave that, that's where our energy was created. And the thing with our energy, you can't take that with you. So if you leave that area,
it's gone.
That's it. There's no telling how things is going to turn out after that.
What message are you trying to communicate?
Well, like right now through the music is no particular message for us, but on our basic lifestyle and our offstage thing, when we do our thing on stage, it's more or less like a unity type thing, for everybody, to be together more or less, because that's the only way we all going to stay strong is if we all to do it together instead of being separate,
These days, if you say, "Give me a break" to an inner city kid, he's likely to get down on the pavement and start spinning. From Chicago, Meredith Vieira shows you how it's done.
It is happening in Chicago on the wrong side of the tracks, where the L train pulls up, and there's nothing much to do. The children are dancing, break dancing they call it. Inner city kids on a north side playground, ghetto kids in a south side boys club. The movements come from jazz, mime, gymnastics, but the energy comes from the streets.
I don't think about nothing, no problems or nothing. I just feel like dancing.
And that feeling is growing among kids in the projects who live in buildings that look more like cages. They are throwing down cardboard on cold cement and dancing as fast as they can.
Maybe we can, get famous with it, be good, great dancers or something. Then we'll have people looking up to us instead of us always looking up to them.
The Boogaloo Bandits have heard about street dancers making it big in New York's ghetto where the whole thing started. And so they practice breaking every day in hopes of one day breaking out.
She think I'm crazy, She's like, what you doing? I say, but no. I say, okay, Ma. I said, no, don't take it like that. I say, Ma, this is going to take me out the projects, baby. It's going to take me out.
Luther Aviles may never get out, but for now he is staying out of trouble. All it took was a friend named Juan and time, something Luther has always had too much of.
He's grown up a lot, and it's like he thinks more about dancing. It's not like, oh, well, let's go do this, let's go get into trouble. It's more like, well, come on, let's break.
I just keep on trouble. Hope to keep on trouble.
Breakdancing won't turn the inner city inside out. It may be nothing more than a crazy fad. But these kids say it's the sanest thing to come their way in a long time. Meredith Vieira, CBS News, Chicago.
I know it's late, but you might want to try a few of those steps yourself before you turn in tonight. I'm Charles Osgood, CBS News. Good night.
Yo. Well, I started doing what I do many years ago when the first wave of rap records had came in, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five and Curtis them, because he's one of my idols, because I grew up listening to Curtis Blow. So that shows you that rap has lasted that long. Second generation sitting with the first generation. So it's not just a passing phase. Yeah. I'm not no hula hoop, you know what I'm saying? And what had happened, the reason I got into rapping, what had happened, well, I'd always wanted a motorcycle, a mini bike or a motorcycle, because that's what kids wanted back then. And my grandfather, since I lived in a neighborhood with a lot of cars go by and a lot of boulevards, he didn't want to get me a motorcycle. So he compromised me and he bought me about $2,000 worth of stereo equipment, 2 turntables, a mixer, amps, speakers. So I started making my own tapes with the kids in the neighborhood. I started getting them into rap, because I was like the mentor of rap. He was in the neighborhood, me and Ladies Love Cool J running around. So finally, when I was 15, 16, I made a tape, sent it in to Rick Rubin. He had a production company called Def Jam Records. He had made it at his NYU dorm. And he formed a company to put out my first single entitled I Need a Beat. That record ended up selling about 100,000 copies, and I was on my way. Then what had happened, I had made another single and it didn't do as well. So then, to make Def Jam do real good, Rick and Russell decided to put an album out on me. They needed more power. So they traded Columbia Records talent for business muscle. The long arm of Columbia would push our records wherever they needed to go. So I ended up after that with a platinum album, a movie, Crush Groove, a movie with Goldie Hawn, Wildcats, and that's it, you know what I'm saying? It's on the wall. Thanks, man.
LL Cool J has one of the longest longevities in hip hop. LL Cool J, at the age of 15 and 16, was writing lyrics for Run DMC. On the King of Rock album, Can You Rock It Like This, LL Cool J wrote that whole song.
When people see me walking down the block, I represent to a lot of people, oh, look at these hoodlums, they wrecked the buffet. You know what I'm saying? This is what I represent, Because I don't wear no shoelaces in my sneakers, because I can take my sneakers off quick, and I wear a lot of gold because I didn't have it before and I want to wear it now. And I can afford it. But see, the drug dealers in the neighborhood who used to be idolized and looked up to, little kids see them. They're the only people who can escape the neighborhood. They got the big 500 bands, and they're riding around smiling at everybody, and the little kids look up to them. But now that they're in jail, and now that they're broke, and now that I'm addicted to this, a lot of them are addicted to the same stuff they were selling, the kids are looking up to me because they see me on American Bandstand with Dick Clark and Soul Train rapping, being cool, wearing a cool hat, bopping down the street the same way, but I'm legit. You know what I'm saying? So, there it is.
started as a breakdancer back in 1972. This is before breakdancing really got hot nationally. We were just doing it up in the Bronx and Harlem. And I later on went to high school. Yeah, and I had to follow that beat, that disco beat, because at that time in 74 and 75, disco was really hot. And the kids uptown in Harlem and the Bronx, they didn't have the money to pay to get into the disco. So what we did was we made our own parties in the parks. And every Saturday and Sunday, you'd have DJs, the neighborhood DJs would come out and just have jams and have 2,000 kids in the park, and we'd just jam and have break dancers spinning on their heads and on the concrete and everything. It was wonderful, you know. But I had to still follow that pace because I realized and I analyzed that the DJ was the most important guy at the block party because he was the guy who was the center of attraction. He controlled the pace of what was going on. He was the man. So I wanted to become a DJ. So I went to college and I majored in.
Now the new music seminar. This is the MC portion of a new music seminar. They also during this event have a DJ competition worldwide. DJs from all over come to compete in that competition. And this year, the winner was DJ Cheese from Word of Mouth out of Plainfield, New Jersey.
In communications and speech broadcasting, and my sidekick hobby was to become a DJ. I got my first job in 1976 at a club called Small's Paradise on 125th Street. Yeah. And then it burned down the next week. At least that's what everybody said. Charles Huggins, yeah, okay. So later on that year, I got another job at another club called Small's Paradise. Did I say that already? Or I said Charles Gallery? All right, Small's Paradise is where I really got hot. I became a popular DJ then. I met all the top guys like Pete DJ Jones and Grandmaster Flowers and Maboya and Plummer, and of course there was Hollywood and Eddie Chiba and Starsky. And we can't forget the Grandmaster Flash, who I also met in 1977, and we started doing duos together along with Millie Mel, and I finally got a chance to make a record in 1979 by some guys who were writers for Billboard magazine, J.B. Moore and Robert Ford, who became my producers and produced my first 5 albums. And the rest is history. What I want to say to all the guys out there who have dreams about becoming musicians or singers or rappers is that you have to think about survival first. You know, so don't give away your day job. You gotta pay the rent, you know, so yeah. Hey, you know, you gotta feed your family, you gotta feed your face, and don't forget that. You always have to keep something on the side, something that you can fall back on, like some kind of a solid career, like speech broadcasting, communications. Maybe you could be a broadcaster or something, you know, whatever, but don't give away that day job. Thank you.
All right, friends, run DMC. As you know, rap started on the street corners in the ghettos, and there were many people who said it won't last. What's happened?
It lasted. Rap is here to stay. It's like, to me, people think it's going to go somewhere because we're not talking about anything, and they're not listening to what we're saying, obviously, because we talk about a lot of positive things. It's like Michael Jackson sings about Billie Jean. I could rap about her just like he can sing about it, you know. I could rap about anything a singer can sing about, so you might as well just say, when singing dies, I'll die. So singing's been here and I'll be here. It's just a different form of singing. We're rapping, and I can talk about anything that a singer could talk about for sure.
What do you want to achieve, though? Your goals? What are your
I don't know.
They just want to make good
I want
music.
respect.
We want respect in music.
Because we sell a lot more records than a lot of guys that's sitting out there in the Grammys, and we like to be invited one time that we can come say, well, them guys, they always make a good album. They're consistent. This is what they do. And I'm tired of getting like fronted meaning don't
Disrespect.
Give us the respect we deserve. We sell a lot of records, people like us, but you keep not, they don't let us in.
Do you think you're misunderstood? And for
No,
maybe...
they understand. It's just that they don't want to I guess they don't want to let us get.
They're ignoring the number
Yeah.
that, they're number 12 pop here. They just skip over, they just skip over it, I guess.
Skip over and then look at this other guy.
As far as you said, your first one of the first songs that you actually put together was over Aerosmith record.
No, there wasn't a song. It was just we used to rap before rap records were made. We used to rap over rock beats, let them scratch it up. But
like we set up in a park, and we needed stuff to rap over, so we go to the store and buy 2 Aerosmith records.
Because
and the
somebody
DJ would
discovered
play that as we rap over it. And then after we said a few lyrics over that record, we pull out James Brown and rap over that, because we couldn't rap over the disco, because the disco had
jazz tune.
Or old jazz tune or something.
We had to find things to rap over, because a lot of the records that were on the radio were just too disco. We had to find hard beats or just something real old and different. We had to find something to rap over.
Well, you certainly are the most successful rap group ever. Have you been able to accept that success? Are you able to deal with it?
It's the best.
Yeah.
I like it. I just like, when I go write something in my basement and I'm sitting there writing and I finish and everybody likes it, it just makes me want to write more, because I like what I'm doing. And when I write it and everybody says, yeah, I like that, it just makes me happy. I want to do it again.
People have been saying that, this rap is all noise, it's not going to last.
I mean, we can make any kind of music anybody else can. We just don't sing, you know what I'm saying? We can rap about, don't drive drunk, just like Stevie could sing about don't drive drunk. So rap is going to be here just as long as people keep making good records.
Where do you see, is there an outer limit? I mean, is there a cap on how big it can get?
There's no limit to how big we can get. We can get big as the Beatles if we keep this up, you know what I'm saying?
Now, a lot of radio stations say, well, we can't play rap, our audience won't listen to them. What do you say to those?
I say that radio station need to play rap and watch their rates go up, you know what I mean?
Well, they're turning on the radio station, you know what I'm saying? There were a lot of kids in the audience today. We talked to some of them, a lot of white kids were here because they like Run DMC and they're upset about the radio station. So you think the stations are behind the time?
All the kids out there, y'all got to call the radio station and say, yo, what's up, man? Y'all got to play Run DMC's records and stop fronting on them. That's what all the kids got to do who feel that way.
Now, what do you say to parents who say, boy, my daughter, my child's in there listening to this rap, I don't understand it,
She needs to listen to it, because we always tell the kids to stay in school, you know what I'm saying? Run DMC is a real positive group, We got a little Black history lesson and Proud to be Black on our new Raising Hell album, and we always doing things that's positive, you know what I mean? So if your parents going to tell the kids she don't understand it, she need to listen to it and have the kids write it down for her and say, oh, that's what they're saying. They should be up on it, just like the kids.
The future is nothing but up.
Excuse me?
The future is nothing but up.
There it is. You know what time it is.
We are definitely back here with the Beastie Boys, Run DMC. Ron DMC. We're just cooling, though.
In case you were watching us before and you've decided to rejoin us, everybody seemed to have gotten up and changed seats, and I'm not even sure who I am anymore, so I guess we have everybody all mixed in. I wanted to ask one really burning question. I was reading through a clip, and it said that you all did something called the Jerry Lewis, which is a dance.
Yeah.
Yep.
Could you just show me a little
Mike?
bit what the Jerry
Well,
Lewis
there's many
is?
dances.
I mean, I'm really
There's
interested
many
in the
dances.
Jerry.
Well,
Could you show me the Jerry
it's
Lewis?
very complicated.
Wait,
watch your mic,
Let's
Mike.
just, yeah.
I got
That's
the
okay.
mic,
Yeah.
man.
All right, face the camera.
It's sort of like from
Let
the
them
movie
see what
The
the Jerry
Jerk.
Lewis is.
Wait, no, the Jerry Lewis is best witnessed from behind.
Yeah, I think it's better a rear view type of
Do you guys want to sing a little something? I mean, what do you do to Jerry Lewis?
Jerry Lewis.
Well, okay, I'm sorry. That was my fault. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So what you're and that's
The water is all over the place.
all right.
This is great.
You haven't said anything. You've been very quiet through all
DMC's
this,
the
and I want
quiet
to ask
storm.
you where
Yo,
you get the
don't mess
ideas
with
for the
DMC.
raps that you do.
Well, we get the ideas from our rap from everyday experiences, and we just, rap is such a versatile form of music. We can write about anything. Like, we can write about something being tricky. We wrote a record about our sneakers. We can write a record about
What'd
how
you
the
say
world
about your
is.
sneakers?
We have a line of
My Adidas, walked through concert doors and roamed all over Coliseum floors. I stepped on stage at Live Aid, all the people gave and the poor got paid. And out of speakers I did speak. I wore my sneakers, but I'm not a sneak. My Adidas touched the sand of a foreign land. With mic in hand, I cold took command. My Adidas and D close as can be. We make a mean team, my Adidas and me. We get around together, but down forever, and we won't be had when morning bad weather. My Adidas.
Well, thank you. That was terrific. Adidas, thanks you. What about you guys? I mean, you do the same thing. Your music's a little different from what I can hear. It's
Well,
more...
it has
Fooling on the corner.
It's
Can you get a
more
close
of
up
a
of this?
variety, a bouillabaisse
A bouillabaisse.
of musical
Yeah.
ideas.
Paella, perhaps?
Paella is one of
I
my
just had
favorites.
paella the other night. We never really want to tell kids anything. We just write like what we think is funny.
Y'all telling the kids stuff they already know.
The kids pretty much. Our music is a lot different than
Pull
Run
out my jammies,
DMC's.
boy.
Run DMC's music is really like a message for the kids, and our music is really like we just writing what we think is funny, and the kids know we're joking around when they hear us. It's a different thing. It's like, you know, I mean, what they're saying is really important, and it comes off as important, and you can hear that when you listen to music.
So
What we're
somebody
saying, it's
sees-
obvious we're joking around and having a good time.
Somebody
It's
sees a
obvious.
house torn up in a video. That doesn't mean that their house is going to get
Hey,
torn
well,
up if they play in a video.
I think
It's a joke.
tell me, when you see Psycho and you see someone get stabbed in the shower, then I mean, it's just like it's a movie. When you see a Clint Eastwood movie and somebody walks around and shoots 100 people in the face, it's like a movie.
That promotes
And when-
violence more than rap.
Right.
When people-
Rambo, all them kids.
We're not talking about violence. We're talking about
Just
what
thought
it
of-
is.
Oh, we were talking about I would say Rambo promotes violence.
I like to say one thing.
Wife left.
And we don't even have pictures of us shooting people in the face. When you see us in the video and we're like breaking the TV set
So
or
it's
throwing
just
a
for
pie in
sort of
somebody's face, it's like anybody sees. That's TV. It's a video. It's not, you know, it's like.
And it's fun to be kind of silly and just to have a good time.
Not to be taken
fool
seriously.
around.
When you
On the
see
other
a
hand,
Three
we are-
Stooges
we
thing,
talk about-
when you see the Three Stooges, somebody smacks somebody in the face, you don't go, "Oh my God, I don't want my kids to watch this." You just smacked someone in the face, like, you know, you laugh. It's like-
Do you realize that a lot of musical groups before you face the same kind of terror from parents?
Yo, they
Elvis
try to
Presley
stop 'em, man.
frightened
Yeah,
people
they
out
won't.
of their
But
minds.
Elvis Presley never went out with Chuck Berry like a white and a black group like we did. This was we knew about this year.
Kind of like I get a picture.
We got a white and a black
I
group
get a
going
picture
out
of
together.
Darryl Strawberry and Lenny Dykstra, you know, from the Mets, and it's just like a beautiful feeling, you know. The Mets are #1, by the way. I'd like to get that out.
All right, this is it. This is the last chance. Y'all want to say something, sing something? We're almost out of time.
Y'all could
Cool it on the corner. I said, at least
Yeah, I would like to do a little version of Freebird. Like,
Well, I'm sorry. I guess we're out of time.
See ya.
Thank
See ya.
you.
Hope you had a good time.
Hollis crew, y'all.
Hope you had a good old time.
Say that bell.
Growing up in New York, Chris Parker left home at 13. He spent the next several years homeless. While moving among the city's subways, parks, streets, and shelters, Chris Parker kept his focus on rap music. And now Parker, as KRS-One, is one of the biggest forces in rap music in this country. And he uses his position to speak out against drug dealing and against police brutality. He pushes forward the idea of strength through intelligence and education. His name, KRS-One, stands for Knowledge Reigns Supreme Over Nearly Everyone. KRS-One, a leading positive rapper, Chris Parker, is with us. Welcome. Glad you come in.
Thanks.
There's a lot that many of us
Before the dreads, family, before the dreads.
need to understand, Chris, about what you're doing and why. We hear the rap on rap music about it being negative, destructive, divisive, violent. And you come across in a different pattern, although it may sound similar at first to an untrained ear.
Right.
If you're positive in your approach to rap, if you're the sort of person who brings people together and towards something, what are you against?
Well, actually, I'm against ignorance and stereotypes. The whole word actually will just deal with ignorance. There's been a great war going on since the beginning of time called intelligence versus ignorance. And I think that being in communication or being someone, a communicator to millions of people, we need to have someone in music, in every walk of life of entertainment, to come out and erase the ignorance that's in our society nowadays. No one wants to come out and uplift intelligence. Everyone thinks intelligence is, the guy with the glasses sitting at home with a book.
The kid who gets the good marks in school is ostracized.
Exactly. And he's the one nobody wants to be, because Brutus, who's the big guy, doesn't get the good marks, is beating him down with brutality and force. The kids nowadays, due to the Stop the Violence movement, have turned their attention now away from the idea of brute force by way of advancement and onto intelligence.
Let's talk about the Stop the Violence movement right now, rather than putting it off for a while.
Right.
You've been involved with some of the other rappers and some of the people who produce records as well.
Right.
In this, is it a program? Is it a slogan? What is Stop the Violence? Good idea, but what is it? What does it mean to people? How does it touch people?
Well, Stop the Violence movement, it started as a record on my last album, By All Means Necessary, and the movement was created to bring awareness.
If you haven't, check out KRS-One's album. I believe it's about a year old. It's called I'm a Crew. Shit is fire. Check it out. It's called I'm a Crew. It is absolute fire. Lyrics, production, and everything's fire. Authentic hip hop.
To the inner city youth listening to rap music. Rap music was getting the bad rap, so to speak, of violence at this concert, violence at that concert. And we just felt as though it was imperative to come out with a song relevant to that, rather than to keep harping on my gold chain, my car, my this, my that. We can say something relevant to the kids.
I want to ask you a question. We're going to take a look at that in just a second. You wrote a piece in the New York Times that in September, an op-ed piece in September, and you said something that I think would probably be unpopular with a lot of people in rap music. It says, I teach a new fad in my songs, intelligence, which is what you just told us. It's no longer acceptable to strut around with big gold chains boasting. That stereotype, that lifestyle must be crushed. What kind of reaction did you get from other people in your business when you put forward that sort of almost holier-than-thou attitude?
Well, the first reaction we got was from other record companies. They didn't want to put out my records. We had a very hard time getting a record deal. Only one record company, which was RCA Records, Jive Records, they then went ahead and said, well, let's put out this message, because they felt the same way. The reaction we got from the artists, on the other hand, was one of fear. Because it wasn't one of anger. It was more like I took the forefront, like picked up the mantle and said, this is what it's going to be.
You were homeless as a young guy from age 13 till what, about 20? You were on the streets in New York?
13 to 20.
How'd you survive? How'd you survive?
You name it, from scrubbing floors to messenger work throughout the city, the shelter system itself. That was basically it, really.
You make a big cause in your work, and just going on talking about it, about intelligence as such. How did you gain what you know? I think it's a great story. You had to get in and out of the rain, basically.
Well, basically, the whole concept of intelligence in my own life story has a lot to do with my striving to advance myself. When I left home at 13, I wanted to be nothing more than a rap artist. I felt, because I love poetry, and when rap came out in the early 70s, it was like, wow, poetry and rap are so much in common. I can do this and get my message across. So the concept then came out, or came out of me, having to take shelter brought me into libraries.
I mean, just to get out of the snow and out of the rain, because you didn't have a place to live. Really.
Exactly. But you can see where the turn of events happened.
What'd you do in the libraries?
You'd read books. I'd read you can't be in a library and not read. So I'd just sit there and read.
It occurs to me that while you say it was your destiny to be a rapper, and that's really what you wanted to be, that perhaps in an earlier generation you would have been an incredible preacher in a pulpit somewhere, or a teacher in a school somewhere, or a writer with, is that just a means to get to where you want to be, the rap music? Is that what you're doing?
Yes, rap is a means of communication for me. I reach the audience that I want to reach through rap music. If rap didn't exist, I'd probably do it through painting, because that's what I went to college for. So that would probably be it. But rap is very strong, very forceful, very direct music that I can give my strong, direct messages to millions of people at a time.
Early this morning, I was listening to Why Is That on my CD at home, and I can tell you, Chris Parker, I'm never going to listen to rap music in the same way that I did before. Enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
All right.
In 10 years, rap music has gone from ghetto streets to Main Street, USA. Sales last year reached an estimated $5 billion. One of the top groups is Public Enemy, also one of the most controversial. Critics call their music insulting. They call it a statement. Two members of Public Enemy are with Mark McEwen this morning. Mark?
Thank you, Harry. Chucky D and Flavor Flav joined me this morning. The new album, Fear of a Black Planet, sold 1 million copies in just a week. Congratulations.
Now, I've got a question. Do we recall in recent times somebody selling that many albums in 1 week? Fear of a Black Planet sold, it went platinum in 1 week. Talking about anticipated.
And good morning to both of you.
Thanks a lot, man. Yeah, boy.
You call yourself a band with a message. What message are you delivering on the new album, Fear of a Black Planet?
Well, we're just trying to say everybody here got to work together and live together, but at the same time, we're speaking from an Afrocentric viewpoint, and it's a Black perspective and a viewpoint that's rarely seen, I guess, in this hemisphere of the world. So basically what it's about is about a little bit of respect going back and forth, and that's our message in our music, is that we got to give ourselves respect first before we can give respect, and also before we can gain respect, because we think that's needed here in America.
Now, you've said that rap is Black America's television. What do you mean?
Well, you know, like when I was growing up, you know, me as a Black child, I didn't know how Black kids my age was living. And, you know, in order for me to find somebody I could relate to, we had to watch Starsky and Hutch and see that there's a Black guy like Huggy Bear on there. And that's how they're living in Los Angeles. So when rap came along, rap was able to describe by words, you know, the reflections, the views, the feelings of Black, you know, teenagers, especially Black male teenagers in the various areas where rap music was at. So, you know, that way we have those communication avenues open. Whether, you know, what's happening now is you got guys from Los Angeles speaking about what's going on out there, guys from Seattle, Atlanta, Carolinas, as well as New York and overseas. So that kind of communication avenue is open, and what it is some sort of we call it media conquest.
Well, Chuck, your music is by Blacks, for Blacks, and it addresses the Black situation. But Black radio doesn't play a lot of Public Enemy. Why?
Well, number one, speaking on behalf of the group, it's for Blacks, but what it is also, it's a message from us to all. You know, basically, we try to give some sort of insight to tell our brothers and sisters out there, leaders that we do have, the programs that we have to look forward to, and this is how the system works, and this is how we can fit in it, being Black and still being in America. So the lyrics just basically tell everybody here, this is what to look for.
1985, you were the first female rappers out in the scene, and the whole field was dominated by males. What was that like?
First, it was rough. Yeah. There was a lot of guys, like we'll go to parties and stuff, and you'll see big time producers and record industry people, and Salt and Pepper would come up. They wouldn't know we were standing right next to them, and you'll see thumbs down and like, no way, waste of time. They just made this answer record to this guy's record, and they'll come and they'll go, but those things make you determined.
That's what I was going to say about a lot. A lot of just got lucky. You know, they didn't give us a chance yet.
No. Look at you now. You wish you had us on your label.
So you feel now they're taking you seriously?
Oh, yeah. They have no choice. We're selling records.
So when you started out now, these guys who are the male rappers, guys who were the inspirations, what's that like? I mean, they were like a lot of their stuff portrayed really negative. They were the ones you were listening to. How did you use that for inspiration?
We really didn't. First of all, we got into this business by accident. I mean, we were working at Sears. We were going to school together, and Herbie was a producer. Herbie was our inspiration, our producer. It wasn't like we wanted to be rappers and we were making rhymes and we were trying to be rappers. This was a total accident. So I can't say I looked up to Run DMC or I looked up to whoever.
We admired them for their work. I mean, back then, LL, Run DMC, the Fat Boys, you know, Houdini, those were the top, you know, at the time.
They didn't inspire us.
Right.
Now, when you finally had great success with Push It,
I don't know if that's a fitted or snapback, but it's a cap.
the male rappers look at you differently.
You know what they tried to say then? That we were trying to go white and we were trying to go pop and we were trying to, you know, cross over and diss our original audience. But Push It was an accident, first of all, because the record was Tramp. You know, we took this record to our record company and they were like, okay, this is great. Let's get a B-side. So we ran back that same night and we just threw Push It together. So it was a phenomenal accident.
That story, I think, is real great because the guy, okay, when we did Push It, I mean, we did it in Fresh Gordon, this guy in Brooklyn, you know, he's also a producer. We did it in his bathroom. His bathroom was like a box. And Salt and myself, we just stand up there going, you know.
He has a studio in his apartment.
Pepper's here, and, you know, we did it like 2 o'clock in the morning.
And his vocal room is in the bathroom.
It's in the bathroom. So, you know, you can hear the toilet running music that like start over and over
So
and over.
for a platinum single to be done in an apartment in a bathroom in Brooklyn, you know, that was an accident. That was a total accident. It was great though. Well, like I said, they were saying that we're trying to go pop, and they never gave us our props. They still don't give us our props to this day. You'll see them quotes in a magazine saying they're good for girls,
Right,
you know,
things like that.
So I don't blame them. It's an ego thing. You know how men are.
You know.
The two themes running through your latest album, Black Magic, Independence, and Black Pride. Why are those two things important to you?
Well, there's a Black awareness going on in New York and in all the states, actually. And I think rap is how can you say, a vessel in order to, the children listen to us, and Black children have a problem with who they are and where they come from.
Right.
And I think if they knew about, they had more pride about who they are and about being Black, it would help them to expand as people, help them to be more confident, help them to do better in school, help them to go, yeah, I can do this. You know, so we feel that we had to do our part. We can't just go about shaking a thing and pushing it and twisting and shouting, you know. We felt this time that we should say something of significance to the kids. And independent is the same thing.
You've come a long way. I mean, as a rapper with Quincy Jones, which brings you more into the mainstream, now movies. How are you dealing with all this? Because, I mean, those are big steps right there.
Well, I'm just hanging on with it. You know, my true feelings about my career, I'm just really concerned with my core audience, which is my neighborhood, you know. Going mainstream and blowing up, that's great, that's cool, but that's not what Ice-T is really in it for. I'm always concerned with being understood, you know, in the streets of Harlem, the streets of the Bronx, of Brooklyn. I want to be able to walk the streets and have people say, yo, Ice, thanks. I'm dealing with all the work. I'm just real happy, you know. I mean, like I said in Quincy's movie, every time people call me and say, Ice, you got another job or another interview, I'll be like, I don't want to do that interview. Then I hear like Grease popping at Jack in the Box or something. I'm like, where's he at? Who do I got to talk to? CBS? And here I am. It's early in the morning too, and I'm ready, you know. So ask me another question. I love it.
All right, let's talk about the street. You are a man from the streets. You make no bones about it. Your music makes no bones about it. Why is that the way you rap?
Well, I mean, that's the way I grew up, you know. Fortunately or unfortunately, people can say unfortunately, but I say fortunately because now there's somebody that can maybe help it, you know. But when hip hop broke out in New York, the rappers rapped about clubs and nightclubs and parties because there was a hip hop scene here. There wasn't a hip hop scene in Los Angeles. There was a gang scene. There was a heavy crime scene back in those days. I tried to rap like the New York rappers, you know, about parties, but everybody said, that ain't you, man. You sound like somebody else, man. So then I started rhyming about what I did every day, which was run from the police and carry guns and stuff. And I invented a new style of rap, which now you see people, you have NWA and all these groups, but it was a reality to me, you know. And through my style of rhyming, I reached a lot of kids in Detroit and Chicago, people living the same way as me. I can't rap any other way. I can't rap like Hammer or Vanilla Ice because I'm not them. But then they can't rap like me, so there's no jealousy or animosity. I just do what I do, and that's telling you about me.
Let me ask you, what's your mom think about the direction you've gone?
Shoot, I don't know. I don't have any parents. My mother passed when I was in the 3rd grade. My father passed when I was in the 7th grade. That's how I got transported to Los Angeles. I don't have any relatives. All I really have is my friends. My aunt I moved out with, she's dead. So I just got my friends. So really, the hip hop community and my friends from the gang community and crime community are my family. That's who I worry about caring about me. See, I don't have I just have my people. When I walk down New York streets, people say, "Yo, Ice, thank you." Not, not you got a dope beat, thank you. I was in Alabama and they told me, I said, "You doing a concert down here?" Can't, man. Tipper Gore, man, they don't want us in here and all that. He was like, "We need you down here, man. Not we need we need you." They need what they're really saying is they want black people to start talking and coming up with something and standing on their own 2 feet. But I'll end this real quick with a quote, my quote. Me and Chuck D have come up with people in this business we call soldiers. And to be a soldier means there's anybody out there can take a position. You can take a position. It takes a soldier to hold a position. And that's what I consider myself, a soldier. And I wish more of these rappers would become soldiers, and these people out here, especially just people in the audience, just become a soldier and hold your position. Stop being able to be pushed off of that. When he asked me about women, he expected me to get pushed off of it. But a lot of the stuff we said is true, and I'm a soldier, and I'm not going to move, Somebody got to do it, yeah.
Nice.
Why you came up with these songs?
I think somebody should write a song called F the Police. No, it's like when we wrote the song F the Police, it's the stuff that we've been through before and that everybody around us been through. People been going through for years, but everybody else was scared to put it on record. So we put it on record, said it how we wanted to say it, and everybody didn't pay attention to it till Holiday caught this Rodney King beating on tape. Then everybody's going, oh, that's why they did this song, F the Police, because everybody's putting us down for doing the song. The FBI was sending us letters and, police was harassing us. Oh, so you the ones that did the song, F the Police. I ought to beat you a little, stuff like that. Now, since all this happened, everybody really paying attention to it now,
You did get a lot of hassles. The FBI and this Federation of the Police were saying don't provide security at rap concerts, that sort of thing.
Right.
Do you feel vindicated now?
It's like banning us from all the venues. We couldn't even go out on the road, because for the song and other reason they think we was going to, cause a lot of trouble, but it's all bull,
And now, though, you think you've made the point?
I think we made the point a long time ago, but everybody just opened their eyes now.
Did you write that song and some of the others as a warning or just to share the experience?
You could say it was a warning, but just letting other people know what's going on and what could happen. But that's just stuff that we've been through and that everybody else goes through. We just put it on record.
So were you surprised when the riots broke out?
Not at all. It's like 400 years plus and they can't take no more, they make examples of everybody else, and everybody know that the 4 officers were guilty, and everybody's seen that for themselves, and it's like people is fed up.
Do you think you speak for a generation out there that the others have not spoken for?
Probably so.
Why is that? I mean, you think they're just not addressing the younger crowd?
Yeah, I think they're not at all. But I guess we're speaking for a lot of people out there that haven't spoke yet or afraid to speak.
Go ahead. You were talking about it started in New York and not a follow.
Rap music was something that started in New York, and I noticed that a lot of the rappers from New York began to start once rappers from
This looks like the set of Living Single.
California started getting recognized and getting their names on the map. Unfortunately, a lot of them were just gangster style rappers. Or people who had been in gangs or whatever and just rhymed. So that was when they came out, that was what they were talking about. And it was a lot of MFs and a lot of Bs and a lot of just curse words, way more than what we were accustomed to using. Us being from the East Coast, from New York, our concentration went more on the flow with our rhyme style, our patterns and things like that. Out here, it just seemed like it's a whole different story out here. And I noticed that a lot of the rappers from the East Coast began to get on this gangster thing when we don't really have too many gangs. We don't have any gangs in New York, to my knowledge, not, regular, no Crips and Bloods in New York. And so for everything to become gangster this and gangster that, we talking about two different kinds of gangsters. But I watched people start following behind what they were doing out here. And I didn't think that was cool. I still don't think that's cool. I don't think that's something we need to be doing. I think if anything, we need to be educating people on how they should be living. And I know it's the trend for this music to be, to sell, but it's not for me to switch my whole ideas and all the things I believe in just to sell a record. I'd rather not sell any records than come out here all of a sudden becoming, I don't think being hardcore is an image. You know what I mean? That's something that's inside. You wouldn't know. I'm smart the way that I am. You wouldn't know whether I was hardcore or not because I would never let you see it. You know what I mean? But now it's becoming an exterior thing. So you won't see Queen Latifah jump on some hardcore, I'm going to shoot him, kill him, cut his throat, dump his body kind of thing. I think that's corny. And I think that's a soft move. That's a punk kind of move. It takes more courage for me to make records that are true to what I believe in than to follow what the trend is. I think that's what a lot of rappers are doing now. They're just following the trend. And more importantly, they're not trying to educate themselves. They're content to say, well, this is the way I was raised and this is what I'm brought up in and this is my experience.
But how do you get it back?
Well, there's still people out here who are making records that are their kind of records and not other people's records. As long as we have groups like, myself, Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, Public Enemy, Boogie Down Productions, who come with a realistic point of view, but overall vibe is really just a positive vibe. Always keeping your head up, always looking up, never looking down or letting it get you down, regardless of what your circumstances are. As long as we keep coming like that, I mean, it'll always be enough for you to choose from. And as long as groups like us sell records, then we'll show that you can sell records without having to be like that. Public Enemy has been platinum many times, but BDP has been gold. Every album is going gold. So, and they come from a street point of view. But there's also a positivity in it and a knowledge that you can gain from it that I feel like a lot of gangster rap doesn't offer you. One thing I do feel like that it did was bring the whole situation to light. And I feel like that was important because a lot of people didn't know about what was going on out here and in other places on the West Coast particularly. We didn't know until people started discussing it. We didn't know that there was a problem to be handled. And, it's a different mentality out here just from living out here now. I do see it's a different It's a different thing, but we all one color as far as I'm concerned. And we need to kind of stick together and kind of bring each other up, you know. So I just want to see more people reach their hands out to the next person and try and help them up and try and show them another way and not make them not discourage them from trying to go the right way.
Can you tell me about Rapper's Delight, how that started?
Well, wow. I started back in 1979 when my mother came up with an idea to put rap on wax. And she put the three of us together. Coryell's a new addition to the crew. Back in 1979, in September, we released a record called Rapper's Delight.
Now, this guy right here, name is Joey Robinson. He's Sylvia Robinson's son, the owner of Sugar Hill Records. This guy, he's fronting. The story he's telling is true, but it didn't involve him. He was not involved in the story. The Sugar Hill Gang is Guy O'Brien, that's Master G, Michael Wright, that's Wonder Mike, Henry Jackson, that's Big Bank Hank. Master G left the group because of some dirty business dealing with Sugar Hill Records. And this guy was going around calling himself Master G. I don't know why Michael and Henry is co-signing this story that this dude is telling. I don't even know why he's telling the story when it didn't involve him.
And a friend of mine owned Crispy Crust Pizza in Inglewood on Palisades Avenue. So I needed something right at, some little summertime job. He says, Hank, why don't you help me at the pizza shop? Now, it's very unique that blacks are not really so much associated with making pizza. But he taught me how to make pizza, and I became an exquisite pizza maker. So I'm throwing pizzas up in the air, and the people are like, this must be a novelty. But I went from making pizza to limousines and private jets.
What really happened in October, let me see, before September, I think, my mother said, Joe, I want to find two other rappers to rap with the group. And a friend of mine, Warren Moore, had...
He's telling Master G's story. This is not his story. He's fronting. I met Joey before he died when they named the street after Sylvia Robinson in Inglewood, New Jersey, where Sugar Hill Records used to be. They changed West Street to Sylvia Robinson Way. I met him. He passed away not long afterwards. But he's fronting. He's telling the story correctly, but he was not involved in that story.
Had known Hank because he had went in and bought pizzas and stuff, and he said, Miss Rob, I got somebody who can really rap. I drove my car over there, and I said, it's your time to audition. Hank was making pizzas at the time, and he told everybody, get out, and locked the door, and he jumped in the back of my car and made my car sink all the way down to here with his weight. Anyway, and I threw a tape in, he started rapping, and he started rapping to my mother. Wonder Mike happened to be across the street, and he saw what was going on. And he walked across the street and said, can I audition? Can I try? And he got in the car, and he started saying the hip, hop, the hip. And then my mother said, okay, I'm gonna put all three of y'all together. And she came up with this idea, and we...
Another lie. She did not put them three together. This is not Master G, but he was performing Rapper's Delight with the Sugar Hill Gang, calling himself Master G. When he's Joey Robinson, Master G is Guy O'Brien.
And we went in the studio, and we stayed this studio as you're interviewing us right now. She came with the idea to put Chic's music, which was #1 at the time, Good Times, by Chic. She said, I'm gonna make this record #1 again. And everybody thought she was crazy, no way in the world. And she came with a record that was 15 minutes and 15 minutes, 14 seconds, the longest playing record ever. And we did it 2 days, day and night in the studio. And she released the record, no short version. And it was unheard of because in the record business, no company releases a record that's 15 minutes long because you can get 3 or 4 different records at a time. She said, I'm not giving no short version. They're going to play it or don't play it. And when they played the record, it was like a phenomenon. I mean, the phones lit up. The requests went crazy. We were selling 70, 100,000 units.
You see how Hank is looking and Wonder Mike is looking. Why are they sitting there allowing him to lie and co-sign this bullshit story?
Units a day on this record, worldwide.
It's wild because when I was 8 years old, I saw Hard Day's Night with the Beatles. They would chase the Beatles around London and all this. And the same thing happened to us. It was weird. Our second show ever was at the Paradiso in Newark. And there were, excuse me, there were girls being passed over the crowd and onto the stage, and they were given water. And we were in France one time, and you see how big we are. We're at a record store signing autographs. The kids came and just rushed us. We ran out the back door and ran down an alley. And there's about 100 people chasing us. And over in Europe, every cab was about as big as this seat right here. And we're yelling, open the door, open the door, open the door. Man opened the door, and all of us, wham, 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 got in, and they were rocking a car, and it was a madhouse.
What do you think makes rap so appealing to a worldwide audience?
You know what? It's people are always going to talk, and when people talking, a lot of people can't sing, but they can rap, they can talk. So I think rap is always going to be around as long as people are talking.
Hank, where do you think, you could look into a crystal ball, where do you think rap is headed?
R.I.P. Grand resting to Big Bank Hank. Peace be upon you.
Well, let's go back. People said when we first started, rap wouldn't last 2 weeks. You know, this new style phenomenon. It's just a fad that's going to be gone just as fast as whitewashed T-shirts. You know, wrong. It's 79. It's 1995 now, right?
Going into 95.
We're going into the year 2000 around that time.
Yeah.
Right? Rap is going to be very big. The Jetsons will be doing it lately, probably.
It's a universal situation which is going to last throughout black, white, Chinese, Puerto Rican, whatever.
Do you think that people are taking it more seriously, if you will?
Yes. Well, what happened, I believe, within the past 3 to 4 years, rap has got a bad name because of the violence, the violent rap, and which we don't portray and which we won't do. I don't knock that because people have to do what they have to do for a living. If it's a rock band and they provoke violence, they don't say the same thing with the rock bands. So don't say it for rap. It's just a different kind of music that we come with the Sugar Hill Gang. And our crowds don't come to hear violence. They come to have a good time, to party, to enjoy themselves. And that's what we portray. And our fans, I mean, we've been selling out all over the world. And it's the true fans that are still coming back to see us. And even the new school are coming to see us because they want to know who are the Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah.
Kids that were 4 and 5 at the time we came with Rappers Light are now 15 and 19. And they want to hear hip hop the hip.
Now, we're going to go to the untold story of the Sugar Hill Gang. Now, at the celebration of the 50th anniversary of hip hop on the BET Awards, I don't know what they had on the stage portraying themselves as the Sugar Hill Gang. They had the only recognizable person on the stage was Master G. He's not here on this clip, but the only recognizable person on the stage was Master G. They had like 5 people on the stage as The Sugar Hill Gang. Wonder Mike wasn't there to set the song off. Mainstream hip hop. This is a fact. Mainstream hip hop, the first song to really pop in mainstream hip hop, the first voice you ever heard in hip hop is the voice of Wonder Mike. So if the Sugar Hill Gang is invited to perform at the 50th anniversary of hip hop on the BET Awards, they're supposed to make that right, and they're supposed to make sure if the Sugar Hill Gang was going to participate, Wonder Mike had to be there.
The hippie all night long, you know?
Yeah.
Crazy. I don't know what these people think.
The Sugar Hill Gang is often credited with creating the first major hip-hop album, as well as the first chart-topping rap single with Rapper's Delight in 1979. But there's a lot more to their story than that. Here's the truth behind these music pioneers. Sylvia Robinson was a minor music star in the mid-20th century. As one half of the duo Mickey and Sylvia, she topped the Billboard R&B chart in 1957 with the single Love is Strange. Then she had a solo hit in 1973 with Pillow Talk. In the late 60s, she and her husband, music industry veteran Joe Robinson, started a soul and R&B label called All Platinum Records. The company had some successful soul singles in the early 70s, but by the end of the decade, their influence had faded and they were on the verge of bankruptcy. Robinson saw a potential financial save at a Harlem club one night in 1979 in the form of rap, the recently emerging New York-centric party music made by talk singing over R&B and disco records.
She goes, you know what? This is going to happen. I'm going to make a hip-hop album no matter what.
As Robinson's son Joey recounted to NPR in 2000, she saw where a DJ was talking and the crowd was responding to what he was saying. And this was the first time that she ever saw this before. And she said, Joey, wouldn't this be a great idea to make a rap record? First, Robinson would need a bass groove for rappers to rap over. So she paid 17-year-old New Jersey session musician Chip Sharon $70 to do it. Meanwhile, the label recruited some rappers, and they all made Rapper's Delight together. The song was attributed to the Sugar Hill Gang, and it became the first release on the All Platinum's imprint Sugar Hill Records. After Sylvia Robinson got the idea to release a rap record, she realized that she needed a rapper to perform it. So she lined up a candidate and arranged to meet him at a McDonald's in Englewood, New Jersey. She decided not to do the song though, but Robinson had another candidate on her short list. It was a guy from the Bronx who worked at a place called Crispy Crust Pizza, which happened to be just across the street from the McDonald's. That performer was Henry Lee Jackson, also known as Big Bang Hank.
Hey, this is Big Bang Hank, the rapping pizza guy. She goes, hey, I hear you can rap. Oh yeah, I can rap.
While all this was going down, budding rapper Guy...
Why do they have Sylvia Robinson so big and Big Bang Hank even bigger? It wasn't that big.
O'Brien, who performed under the name Master G, happened to be walking past Crispy Crust. He was with his friends Mark Green.
Why do they have Guy O'Brien? They're saying Guy O'Brien, but they're showing Joey Robinson. I don't understand how these people don't think those of us who was around at that time wouldn't know the difference. Now, the person on the screen now is Guy O'Brien, the real Master G, but the picture right before this picture came up was Sylvia Robinson's son, Joey Robinson. Good trick, but it doesn't work to those of us who were there.
Green, who knew Robinson and her son. That night, Jackson and O'Brien ventured to Robinson's house and took turns auditioning. Robinson couldn't decide which guy she liked better, so she opted to hire both. A third rapper named Michael Wright, aka Wonder Mike, was also present for the tryout. A few months earlier, he joined his cousins' DJ group Sound on Sound as a rapper. One of those DJs was Ron the Mad Master Mixer, who brought him along to Robinson's home and who also suggested that the record they were planning should include a hook based on the Chic song Good Times.
Also, they should mention, I don't know if they would mention on this because I didn't watch it before I played it. They should mention, if they would be truthful, that Grandmaster Caz gave Big Bank Hank his rhyme book, and all the rhymes you hear on Rapper's Delight that Big Bank Hank is spitting were written by Grandmaster Caz. He even started off by spelling the name C-A-S-A-N-O-V-A, and the rest is F-O-Y. That's Grandmaster Caz.
During Wright's audition, he presented what would become the introduction to Rapper's Delight. He got the job, and the Sugar Hill Gang became a trio. Plans were made to also include a fourth member named Casper, another member of Sound of Sound, but he backed out after his record executive father told him not to do it. Rapper's Delight marks a definitive moment in time. It was the first major rap recording and the first one heard by millions of mainstream music fans. Remarkably, it was recorded in a single take. The music was captured in one session, and then the lyrics were laid down all at once as well. The song's primary melody is the groove from Chic's Good Times, but it isn't sampled or even looped because the equipment needed for those now standard practices wasn't available. Instead, session musician Chip Sharon played it over.
That's just what I try to tell people. Early hip hop, there were no samples. They brought in band members. This brother right here, Edward Fletcher, aka Duke Booty, who wrote The Message, wrote Survival, wrote New York, New York. They were band members and they played it live, and then the song was mixed down.
Over and over again in the studio for 15 minutes straight. With a 15-minute long tape ready for a vocal overlay, Sylvia Robinson brought in the rappers. She hired them on a Friday, and by the following Monday, they were in the studio rapping to the beat. Each member took turns to deliver their sections of the song in one take. The released recording contains no overdubs, so it's essentially a live recording. It's impressive to capture any song in one take, let alone such a popular and influential one. But the magic is undercut somewhat by the fact that so much of what makes Rapper's Delight so great was totally stolen. Rappers at New York parties in the late 70s performed over pre-existing R&B records, so Sylvia Robinson recreated that formula for Rapper's Delight. But instead of sampling the bass line from Good Times, she had a studio musician imitate it. That constitutes blatant copyright infringement though, as nobody at Sugar Hill Records had bothered to clear anything with Chic's Nile Rodgers and Bernard Edwards, the writers of Good Times. Rodgers first heard Rapper's Delight on the dance floor at a New York club called Leviticus. The DJ told Rodgers that he bought the record in Harlem. Rodgers and Edwards eventually sued Sugar Hill Records for copyright infringement. The parties reached a settlement out of court, resulting in future pressings and releases of Rapper's Delight crediting Rodgers and Edwards as co-songwriters, entitling them to a share of the profits in perpetuity. The Sugar Hill Gang raps with confidence and precision for the entire duration of Rapper's Delight, which in its original form lasts nearly 15 minutes.
Yeah, they was in the pocket with the lyrics. I mean, their cadence is not fancy, but they was in the pocket, especially to do it in one take.
No small feat, but the group had a little help. Before joining the Sugar Hill Gang, Big Bank Hank managed Curtis Brown, also known as Grandmaster Caz and Casanova Fly, an early rapper in the Bronx in the 70s with his group, the Cold Crush Brothers. According to Brown, Jackson borrowed money from his parents to buy the Cold Crush Brothers a better sound system. To pay it back, he got a job at Crispy Crust Pizza, which is where Sylvia Robinson discovered him and hired him, as he was rapping some of Brown's lyrics, which formed the basis of Rapper's Delight. In 2014, Brown told the New York Post, "It was his job as my manager to introduce me to Sylvia, but he was an opportunist, and he just jumped on it for himself. Hank couldn't rap a package. He didn't change one word of the song. I was Casanova Fly, not him."
What is Hank supposed to tell Sylvia Robinson?
He's supposed to say, well, I'm not a rapper. Let me go introduce you to the dudes on the tape.
There you go.
The Sugar Hill Gang didn't invent rap. Sylvia Robinson simply determined that the time was right to capitalize on a sound that had already been growing in popularity. According to the Boombox, the first single that's a recognizable example of modern rap music is King Tim III's Personality Jock by the Fatback Band, a B-side of the early 1979 single You're My Candy Sweet. A few months after that track came out, Rapper's Delight made its debut on the Billboard Hot 100. In January 1980, the song would peak at number 36 on the pop chart, making it the first rap song to land on the top 40. Rapper's Delight also became the first rap song to be a smash hit on R&B radio, as it reached number 4 on the Billboard R&B chart. For a song from an emerging musical style to get crucial radio airplay is remarkable on its own, but for Rapper's Delight, to do it is even more surprising when you consider how long the song's original versions are. Mainstream commercial radio stations typically prefer songs that are no more than 3 or 4 minutes long, but Rapper's Delight nevertheless got airplay in both its 6.5-minute short version and its full-time 15-minute iteration. The Sugar Hill Gang expanded from releasing very long singles in 1979 to making an entire album in 1980. In February of that year, their self-titled full-length LP hit record stores around the United States. That was a big moment for the group and for rap in general. According to The Source, it's the first rap album in history. It consisted of just 6 tracks, including yet another version of Rapper's Delight that clocks in at just under 5 minutes, along with the group's second single, the little-noticed Rapper's Reprise, Jam Jam. And that's just about all the actual rap that appears on this so-called first rap album. According to the Boombox, Sylvia Robinson didn't think that a 39-minute LP of rap music would be commercially viable, so she instead had the album filled out with selections of tried-and-true musical forms like soul and disco. The Sugar Hill Gang made monumental history with Rapper's Delight, but they never had much tangible success on the charts after that. They're technically a one-hit wonder, and barely at that. Rapper's Delight just scraped into the Billboard Top 40 in 1979, peaking at number 36. 2 follow-up singles couldn't land much radio play. Eighth Wonder and Apache managed to be top 20 R&B hits in the early 80s, but they barely made...
Eighth Wonder was better than Rapper's Delight, but Apache resurfaced when I think Will Smith and Carlton made Apache big when they was doing that dance on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Made a dent on the pop chart. A succession of singles followed, but none registered much with the public. Not even a potential comeback attempt in 1989 in the form of a Rapper's Delight remix. None of the group's 4 albums that were released between 1980 and 1984 went platinum or even gold, which led to the band going on a long recording hiatus. Their last release to date was 1999's Jump On It, a rap album for children. It features Kids Rapper's Delight, Kids Rap Along, a toned-down version of Rapper's Delight with kids' voices added to the mix, as well as a family-friendlier cover version of Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five's The Message, called It's Like a Dream Sometimes. Rapper's Delight made millions for the Sugar Hill Gang and Sugar Hill Records, as it sold around 2 million copies. The band also scored another huge payday more than 20 years after the song's original recording because of a lawsuit. In 1998, the group filed suit against Turner Broadcasting after the company commissioned a performance of Rapper's Delight. The rappers were told that the clip would appear only on closed-circuit TVs at the Studio 54 nightclub in New York City as part of a pre-Goodwill Games promotional event. But instead, the footage ended up in a TV commercial for Snapple, a Goodwill Games sponsor. In their defense, the beverage company and broadcaster both contended that the Sugar Hill Gang were told beforehand about the ad in question. In 2002, the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York ruled in favor of the Sugar Hill Gang. The musicians were awarded $165,000 in compensatory damages and a whopping $2.8 million in punitive damages. Sylvia Robinson died in 2011, which meant that control of Sugar Hill Records was passed down to her son, Joey Robinson Jr. He toured under the name of the Sugar Hill Gang, which he had the legal right to. This led to some confusion for fans of old school rap. Robinson's version of the Sugar Hill Gang toured for years, but the performers who actually recorded Rapper's Delight weren't a part of it, and they had to do their own thing under a different name. The surviving members of the original trio,
they were going around calling themselves Rapper's Delight, which is corny as hell. Joey Robinson did them dirty. He did them dirty.
Performed for a while in the United States as Rapper's Delight featuring Wonder Mike and Master G. But trademark laws are different in Europe. So in that continent, the rappers were able to exploit some loopholes and perform under their individual stage names while boasting that they were formerly of, and the original members of, the Sugar Hill Gang. By 2016, shortly after Joey Robinson Jr. died and his version of the rap collective fell apart, the original members had successfully worked out legal arrangements to perform as the Sugar Hill Gang once again.
Y'all remember the Sugar Hill Gang? Y'all remember the Sugar Hill Gang?
The group remains active, albeit with some necessary lineup changes, as Big Bank Hank passed away in 2014 after a battle with cancer, and Henry Williams, aka Hendog, ostensibly now occupies his place in the band. In 2019, the trio toured to commemorate the 40th anniversary of Rapper's Delight, alongside fellow early rap pioneers, the Furious Five. Check out one of our newest videos right here.
plus even more grunge videos about your favorite stuff are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.
Now that's some history for us. Hip hop, the early years, from the archives. I hope it was informative, enlightening, and most of all, enjoyable. Before I go, I want to say peace to my brother, Keith West. Keith, thanks for coming through, good brother. Peace to Marco Power. Thanks for coming through. Peace to my brother, Big Dog Philly OG. Thanks for coming through. Thank you to my brother, King Genocide. Thanks to my brother, Anthony Lowe. Thanks to my brother, Bronze Flat Power Guide. Thanks to my brother, Dangerous Music. Thanks to my brother, Chris Cyphers, TSL. Thanks to the good brother, P. Moses. Thank you all for coming through. Hope this was enlightening and enjoyable to you. This is The Enemy's Public. I am Bro.Nasir. Like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section. Peace.
Yo, the enemy's public, I gotta keep my eyes open. Pay attention, stop walking around like you blindfolded. This not the World Cup, but Nasir be kicking knowledge. This is the type of information you can never learn in college. It's time to fight back, it's no more trying to play it cool. We got interviews, podcasts, and got the latest news. So sit back and relax, we about to get it started. Earth is a canvas, and guess who's the con artist? They brainwashing us, the system corrupted. You are now rocking with the enemy's public. You are now rocking with the enemy's public. I said you are now rocking with the enemy's public. Hey.